8 chapters, you are talking about authenticity. I'm going to tell you something that may surprise you, or you may know this already. Authenticity, especially CEOs today, whether they are authentic or not, they pretend to be authentic.
Authentic, yes.
And there are a lot of leadership books, including the one by my own Stanford professor, 𝒏𝒂𝒕, which discusses authenticity at length. I'm sure you read his book, Path to Power. I took his course also. Do you think today's leaders are authentic? And do you think today's leaders or today's aspiring leaders will take a lesson in authenticity from this book?
Let me be very honest. I talk about authenticity, and I also talk about in Krishna's chapter pragmatism. These are paradoxes. So pragmatism versus idealism. And I would say authenticity is an ideal, is something that must be always kept in mind as a very important way of acting and demonstrating what you stand for. But there will always be certain situations when being authentic may actually be counter, may be actually not be the right thing. You may need to deviate from these ideals at times. This is a difficult question actually. I would say the answer to this would be, I truly believe authenticity is very important, and there can be no better way of leading than leading by example. It is the strongest way of leading, which is demonstrating and practicing the values that you think others should practice. So it is a very important quality. Leading by example is very important. But at times, as you lead, you may need to be pragmatic to see, is there a deviation that is needed? If we were to look at 100 situations, a leader who is inspiring, a leader whom people would like to follow, would be authentic, I would say most of the times, 90-95% of the times. Those 5% of times he would think about possibilities of or the consequences of if I actually do be authentic at this time, would it lead to the right consequence or not? So keeping the ideal of authenticity in mind, and then always being mindful and thinking carefully about where your actions may lead you to. If there is a need, being okay to deviate as an exception, as in not as the first way of acting or behaving, but only as an exception. So it's a difficult thing to explain, but being authentic, but also being ready to be pragmatic at times. Let me say that.